Hey everybody, I hope you all are doing well and that you've had a wonderful weekend. Um, we are on day 3 and we are going to be looking at solving systems of equations by substitution. Okay, so what we have here is we have 2 examples, and on the last example, we're going to solve the system also by graphing, just so that we can see 2 different ways to solve the same systems of equations. I just want you all to be able to see that there is more than one way to solving a systems of equation problem. Okay, so let's get right into substitution. So, substitution, what you're going to be doing, what the concept of it is you're going to want to find x or y for one equation. And if you notice in number 1, you see that we have x, okay? So how substitution works is you want to find x or y for one variable and plug that in to the other variable to be able to solve. So for this one, we know that our second equation, x equals negative y plus 3. So our first step for number 1 is we're going to plug in negative y plus 3 into our first equation for x. So what that's going to look like is we are going to have 3 times negative y plus 3 plus y equals negative 3. Do we all see what we did here? All we did is we substituted in what we had for x in the second equation into x in the first equation. And what we're doing is we're finding y for both equations. So when we solve this, we're going to get negative 3y plus 9 plus y equals negative 3. Or negative 2y plus 9 equals negative 3. Then we know we're going to need to move this negative 9 to the other side. So we're going to minus 9 to both sides. We're going to get negative 2y equals negative 12. And then our final step is we're going to divide both sides by negative 2. And we are going to get y equals 6. So what we've just done is we've found y for both equations. And once we find y, what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to plug in our answer for y in so we can find x. So what that looks like is, we're going to switch colors. We're going to have 3x plus 6 equals negative 3. And then we're going to solve. So we're going to need to subtract 6 to both sides. And we're going to get 3x equals negative 9, or x equals negative 3. Now once we have this, we have to check both of these by plugging in x equals negative 3 and y equals 6 into both equations. And when we do that, for this one, we're going to get negative 9 plus 6 equals negative 3. And this one, we're going to get negative 3 minus 6 plus 3 is negative 3. So we know our answer will work. And our answer to this system is x equals negative 3 and y equals 6. Alright, let's go ahead and let's do another one just so we see another example. So we know that with these, we want to get x or y by itself and plug it into the other. So we already have that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take y equals x minus 1 and we're going to plug it in for the second equation. Or if we wanted to, we're going to take 2x plus 2 and plug it in for y in the first equation. So here we go. We're going to have x minus 1 equals 2x plus 2. Right? So what we did is because we knew y equals x minus 1, we took the x minus 1 and plugged it in for y in the second one, and we got x minus 1 equals 2x plus 2. Then once we're here, we're going to solve for x, and we're going to do this by getting the numbers on the right side. So we're going to add 1 to both sides, and then getting the x's to the other. So we're going to subtract 2x to both sides. And when we do this, we are going to get negative x equals 3, or when we divide by negative 1 to get positive x, x equals negative 3. And then what we need to do is once we find x or y, we're going to plug it in so we can find the other variable. So we're going to plug it in, and we're going to get y equals negative 3 minus 1, or y equals negative 4, and then we're going to do a quick check just to make sure we're right. So for this one, we're going to have y, which we know is negative 4, equals negative 3 minus 1, and we know that is negative 4 equals negative 4, so we're good. And then we're going to do the same thing down here. We're going to plug it in, and we're going to get negative 4 equals 2 times negative 3, which is negative 6, plus 2. And negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. And negative 4 equals negative 4. So we know we're right. So what we're going to be asked to do in this final thing is we're going to have to solve the system by graphing. So we're going to have to graph both of these functions, and the point where they cross should be our answer. And we know that our answers are x equals negative 3 and y equals negative 4. So let's go ahead and let's do this. So we have, I'm going to write down the equations down here so we see it. Y equals x minus 1 and y equals 2x plus 2. So what we have to do is we have to graph both of these. We know that this is in y equals mx plus b form, so we're going to graph our y-intercepts. So y equals x minus 1. Our y-intercept is going to be right here. And we're going to go up 1 and over 1, up 1 and over 1. And then once we do this, we are going to make our line. Let's go ahead and do that. And boom, we have one line. And then we're going to need to make another line. And when we do that, we're going to grab a different color. And we're going to have y equals 2x plus 2. So we're going to go 2. And then up 2 and over 1. Up 2 and over 1. And we're going to then we are going to go in the same direction the other way. So we're going to go down 2 and over 1. Down 2 and over 1. Just try to make sure we get it exactly, and then down 2 and over 1. And then boom, what do we notice? There's our point right there. But first, let's graph that line. So when we graph that line, we're going to slide it over just a little bit so you can see it. Perfect right there. And we have our point where they cross, and it is right there. So now, where these lines cross, we know is our answer. And at that point, we're going to have x equals negative 3 and y equals negative 4. And guess what's going to happen? We're going to see that we're going to get the same answers, whether we do it by graphing or substitution. We are going to get x equals negative 3 and y equals negative 4. Okay? So the purpose of this is that you all are able to see another method on how we can solve systems of equations. Now we know 2 methods as to how we can solve systems of equations. All right, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful week.